Our organization is called Global Justice for Animals and the Environment. We focus on the link between global free trade policies and animal rights and environmental issues. We are concerned that free trade agreements in the model of the North American Free Trade Agreement and the World Trade Organization are the greatest threat on the planet to animal protective legislation and environmental legislation because they strike down environmental and animal protection laws as unfair barriers to trade. And we also have observed that the elimination of agricultural tariffs as a condition of these free trade agreements promotes the global expansion of factory farming. So numerous positive steps of progress for animals and the environment have been eradicated already under the World Trade Organization and the North American Free Trade Agreement. And we're working to see the repeal of these free trade agreements and at the same time stop the passage of new ones. We are concerned about a system of global trade and global economics that is really based around putting corporate profits and corporate free trade above what's called corporate free trade, which is often, in some cases, quite the opposite, above all else, that considers environmental considerations and animal protection secondary to free markets. And we see time and again how detrimental this can be. For example, the U.S. Effort to protect dolphins under the Marine Mammal Protection Act from tuna nets was struck down by the World Trade Organization. The attempt to protect sea turtles from shrimp nets also struck down. The attempt by the European Union to ban the importation of furs from countries where the steel-jaw leghorn trap is legal, to ban wild fur imports, eliminated by a Canadian threatened challenge to the World Trade Organization. In Mexico, we've seen a vast increase in factory farming since the passage of NAFTA, because it's now much cheaper for U.S. corporations to outsource production and then ship product back to the U.S., getting around our environmental laws, our animal welfare laws, and using much cheaper labor. While, thanks to the elimination of these tariffs, they can now buy the same cheap grain that they buy in the U.S. That's subsidized by our government for their overseas production. So, time and again, corporate interests win through these international institutions that are really fundamentally, and agreements that are fundamentally unaccountable to democratic process and that view profit as really the most important factor overall. I'll say this. I mean, certainly. I think the film contains some shocking and compelling imagery and footage that people need to see to realize some of the vast horrors that animals are experiencing.